Peace to the gods and welcome to the Road to Discovery podcast. This is your host, Christian King Taylor, and I have the pleasure to be joined by my good brother, Sun Ray. How we doing, brother?
Joyful day, friend. So joyful and abundant, happy.
Yeah.
It's a good
How's
day.
your
So
how's your energy, man?
fun. Today is so fun. I'm energized. I've been in the sun all day now. Just clocked out of work. I'm about to go back in the sun after this for a little bit. And I'm just so excited to just be and bask in the glory that is and just exist, man. Be behind my eyes and just, experiencing the world, feeling the breeze, smelling the fumes of, the beautiful women walking by and the ducks and the grass. Ooh, and that water.
Mm.
Yeah, just feeling all the senses, man. So I'm so excited. That just
You're
all
not
that make the
letting
present good. You know what I mean?
you're not letting none of that Texas get by you, huh? You came from Michigan and is engulfing everything Texas, huh?
Yeah, man. Holy smokes. Fuck it. I'm so excited to be here every day. That mug like just it's weird seeing this consistent amount of it's almost like somebody that grow up broke, they appreciate materials much more than somebody who grew up well off. And
Mm.
coming from Michigan with our deep, ridiculous, steamy chemtrailed or contrailed skies, and it's so refreshing. You know what I mean? Them trails still trailing, but that sun is different here. It's every day. It's consistent. So I'm so happy,
Really? So
so
what's the
joyful.
weather like out there? Is it gloomy or is it humid, hot? Like how is it throughout the year?
Oh, well, right now it's gonna get up to about 95 today, where
Mm.
I'm at. Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, and we just almost in April. So yeah, it was in the 90s 2 months ago. So it's the
Mm.
valley. Call it the valley for a reason.
Today I wanted to do something special. I wanted to really dive in to one, see where your information was flowing from, and also see if it aligned with the information I had, and also just to inform anybody that's out there watching. And I wanted to dive into the subject of Indigenous Black America. And I wanted to start from to by asking you, what does the beginning of that sound like? And what does the beginning of Indigenous Black America look like, going past the history that we're given and the history that we actually own?
Oh man, it's different. The truth is always even crazier than the fiction. We go back, not hundreds, not thousands, tens of thousands. I'm talking the Kuminge tribe goes back to around 15,000 BC. 15,000 years ago. The, the, the Bible happened 2,000 years ago.
Hmm.
We talking 15,000 years ago, inhabiting the Americas. That is wild when you think of that. The Kuminge tribe turned into offsprings of like the Blackfoot, Cherokee, my people, some Tainos. Like it was like we were bigger. It was almost like one group. And once you start looking back to the some more ancient ancestors, the Kuminge answers a lot of questions. They are the father of like all those tribes, you know, uh, from Central to South America, but also all of Mexico, like in parts of Central America. That's how far they expanded. It was a major empire, like, and I think it was some connections to Atlantis and Tartaria. I think it's all connected. I think that's all the same people. That's all the same Aboriginal American.
Hmm.
So when everybody say that they grandma, they great aunt got love, the Indian in them, it was refreshing to connect the dots as I got older to realize that, oh, that's because we are the Aboriginals. You know what I mean? We
Right.
are the ones that was always here. Oh, that makes so much sense. That's why you never seen one slave ship when it's supposed to be thousands and thousands.
Right. Right.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. The people that was already here were turned to prisoners of war, so they didn't have to ship. Oh, it makes sense why you can clearly see without ever really asking. If you set an Aboriginal African and an Aboriginal American near each other with 10 random ones, you will be able to accurately depict which one is which, like 9 times out of 10. That's
Oh
how
yeah,
distinct it is. That's how in our face it is, and how programmed it's been in our head to actually like not see something clear. And when I talk about it, man, I had some big videos that that had a lot of mixed feelings, and there was a lot of people that was so caught up in like, man, you're self-hate, you're detaching from us. And I'm like, no, brother, I'm unraveling these energetic knots. At the end of the day,
right,
we all connected. You, my
right,
brother, regardless. I'm just trying to tell you the part of the story that they lied about so we can unravel these knots and become more of who we are and remember who we are. Because after we connect these pieces, it's going to connect some other pieces, and then we can just start getting our power back. So if we stop wasting time looking for reasons to be offended, because the only time you can ever be offended by anything is if it's rooted in insecurity. Otherwise, offense doesn't exist in security. It
right.
literally doesn't. If you come and you call me, hey, you're a green sky, I'm gonna be like, uh, what they got? I mean, that don't apply to me. I think something wrong with you then. So when you say anything negative, that's the opposite of what I'm feeling and what I am right now. It's the same thing. Well, clearly there got to be something wrong with you because it ain't got
Yeah,
nothing to do with me. It's the same
right.
shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Yeah, what you think about it, man? I know you know a lot. Like the truth is coming out. I'm so excited that we're waking up and people remember and we're spreading the truth and we're connecting more dots and we're unraveling those knots. Like I still, I see it. I'm so excited.
I think even beyond just even our indigenous history here, it has a lot more even to do with our indigenous history on every continent on the globe, on this planet. And in fact, that's why there's so many aligned cultures where you see the same type of structure, same type of pyramid, same type of
Mhm.
everything on every landmass you go to. And it more explains the connection that everything actually has. So I think when people try to get offended about, oh, we're stealing culture or we're disowning our own culture, I think we got to realize one, a lot of people worked together to erase our history. A lot of different cultures and places, they are well aware of our history and what we do not know. And when somebody finds out what you tried to hide from them, they also find out how you were complicit in hiding it from them. So they're afraid of a backlash. They're afraid of an aggression that might come their way. But in actuality, I think our gaining knowledge of who we are and where we come from and our connection with everywhere and how that is the stem of all civilizations, that should more bring us to more knowledge than actual aggression and war and things like that. But when you do a people wrong for so long and you deliberately hide things from them and you do things in order to conquer who they are spiritually and physically and the land that they're on, there's going to be some nervousness when they start to grow into the light and start to find out who they are, because it's like if if somebody came into your house and just knocked you over the head, and then when you woke up they said, no, this is our house, and you're still a little woozy, you can't remember, so you're like, all right, but they were like, it's cool, we'll let you stay here, but just remember this is our house. Every time you sit in your chair how you used to sit in your chair, or you do some of the routines that you used to do, there will become some type of friction. There will be worry. There will be frustration because they will see you starting to learn the actual truth of the conquering of their home. So I think that's what we deal with a lot, is just the anger that comes from seeing from familiarities of what we always done. And if you look at even the stories of the Native American people or the Indians, a lot of them were doing a lot of the things that we do now. The footwork, the peace pipes, the tribal games, the tribal wars, all the things that we do that's just kind of just inherently ours.
Hair braiding,
Hair braiding, the even food,
smoking.
cornbread, corn, all these things. It's all stuff that's ingrained in us, but it's a misnomer to other people, you know. When in actuality, if you just look at the behavior of the people, the present people now, you will see where everything came from. You know, I would like to dive more into what you were talking about with Tartaria and also Atlantis, because I truly believe that Atlantis was not just a place where they said sunk. It was a global population of people, which is why we have so many Atlantic structures, like such as the pyramids and the oscillus or whatever what's it called, all the things throughout the whole globe. It was actually a global civilization.
Yeah, it's a connection. So when you talk about some of some people interest in keeping people in amnesia for their own benefit and how they fear the retaliation once people remember who they are, the empowerment to know this was them, to know that they were under a spell, confusion, just knotted up. But it runs even deeper because once you connect those dots, it makes you think, okay, if we were here, then where exactly were you? What
Hmm.
if and when we were here, how long were we here? What were we doing right before you came there? What happened to all of that? Because that wasn't that long ago. What
Right.
happened to all of, like, what were we doing? So it's going to start connecting dots, and then you start looking at some of these old Tartarian structures, and they got those ethereal antennas at the top that pull energy directly from the ether. Like that was the technology that was just here before that last reset, and that wasn't that long ago. So once you start peeling back, you only go back 3, 4, 5 generations, and it's scrubbed. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I mean, we're talking 1700s.
Right.
Like just that like, and these remnants are still here. So it's gonna open up a can of worms of the old world, which then is like, who orchestrated all of this? Why the suppression? How many people hands are involved in the suppression? Because holy shit, this is global, this is everywhere. And then
Right.
like that's why I don't trust nothing, right? Nothing on the mainstream, because it's always 100% assume every single thing is a psyop, because it is. It's not
Hmm.
even like a debate. It's 100%. Just look at the pattern recognition. Use our direct logical like just patterns, and it's right there. It's the same reason why it don't take a rocket scientist to figure out, if you really just put any effort, whether you are a victim or not, to realize that there is clearly a certain particular group that is continuously perpetuated negatively and systematically let down and oppressed throughout the entire world. And it's been a consistent thing, and it's right in our face. And it's like, why is all this effort for what? It can't just be because somebody's feelings hurt. It has to be for something deeper. This is something that's
Hmm.
perpetuated everywhere, and it's requiring so many hands. We think that it's just a couple few, families. They got
Hmm.
millions. You know how
Hmm.
many people work, big, like on the railroads underground and stuff, is like the like those cities, and like it's millions. Now the number imbalance is still like ridiculous. We're talking 99% to one. Like not even that is bigger than that. But still, when the how many people are working in a collective unit to continuously suppress something that's right in front of us, and even though it's such a large amount of people, it's like, holy shit, it's more than y'all think. So it's just about going within, because once you know that everything is connected, now I might be getting a little bit too deep.
No, no,
But
no, no. This is where you go deep. This is
when
this is the
you
place to be.
when you know everything is connected, you don't try to be a Malcolm X, because if you once you know everything is connected, you know all of this is happening in the mind of source. All of this is a dream, just like a dream at nighttime, and all of this is meant to be. You're meant to be right here, right now, in the moment. Your higher self already constructed this, so be here, be now, be in the present. Once you get to that point, you realize that once you go within, it automatically reflects without. So all you have to do is continue to work on self and continue to vibrate at higher levels of consciousness. Continue to remember who you are, continue to love, because love is coherence. Coherence is everything. Coherence is like, okay, I know exactly who you are. That's what source is at the beginning. That's why authenticity is so important. Authenticity is love. Is so much more closely connected than you think, because they both make coherence, and that is what connects you to source. So at the end of the day, once you know that's it. Don't be a Malcolm X, because once you become a Malcolm X, you become tethered to that timeline, and then you become an op, and then you have an opposition, then you have enemy, then you have stress. But once you just continue to vibrate at higher levels of consciousness, you transcend timelines to a point where there's 100 Malcolm X's already doing that, and you just being free, because you remember that that Malcolm X and the people that he's opposing are all just a part of you, and all of y'all are just collectively source, just living out this specific dream. So just be.
Right. It's more about gaining alignment than trying to remove people's history and take people's thing. It's not about trying to destroy anything you have. It's just
Exactly.
about regaining what we lost. And
Remembering it.
in actuality, when it comes to this earth, if we are back in alignment with what this earth needs from us, everybody is back in alignment, and everybody is more at peace and more aligned with who they truly are and what's going on. I think I do want you to break that down just a little bit more. What do you exactly mean by "don't be the Malcolm X"? If you could break that
um
down a little bit.
when you become invested into something and you get anything energy, right? If you look at them as they and you as me, and you look at them as the opposition, them as the enemy, you're given the energy. So it's like it's the same concept of forgiving. Once you don't forgive anybody, you're continuously holding that energetic link between you and them.
Hmm.
You have to be within self to know that they are just acting out the best of their reflective life based on how they're groomed, and they think that this is how things should be. They're just energetic knots. Don't take anything personal. They're going to be reflections. Continue to continue to know that anything that anybody does at any given moment is always a reflection of them, and it's never has any bearing on you as a person, and that keeps your energy secure, keeps your energy clean, and keeps your vibration high. So we're constantly transcending timelines at every moment, no matter what. That's life,
Hmm.
depending on where you're at. That's why when you do something different, that's how they say you can change certain little timelines. Brush your teeth with your left hand if you're right handed, and you brush with the right hand all the time. Just something like that, and it just change your brain chemistry to continue to think a little bit, because everything is all the mind. The mind is all. It's the old Kemetic principle of Heka, or
Hmm.
Hermeticism. Same difference. That's where they got it from. Whatever. So if you become that Malcolm X, you can become powerful. Use your third eye and become powerful, because you see everything that's really going on, and you have knowledge of self. But you can use your crown and realize that everything is connected, and you're connected to everything, and you can just transcend the timeline in which you prefer to inhabit.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mhm. Just
Um,
look at now, look at your life right now
mhm.
compared to 20 years ago. Even if you just go of your life, the world is so much more high consciousness. And just
Oh,
think of
for
how
sure,
much you've grown over the
for
past
sure.
15 years, how much of your elevation, this where you are right now, this timeline with this version of me, is because of your level of consciousness. And when you compare it to years prior, that's because of your ascension. And that's going to
Hmm.
continue to happen. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and exactly what we're doing with this podcast. We're just projecting this frequency as far as we can to anybody
Yeah.
that might be looking for it. Um, so now I want to get into exactly how religion was used as a tool in the conquering of our people in different stages, even from America to Rome to Africa to Asia. Let's talk about how religion is used.
Well, religion is used no differently than any other thing. Everything is used to its full capacity to completely get you under certain psyops, to be more easily manipulated, controlled on anything. It's just religion is something that people base their sole reason for living. So it ties deep and it runs deep. But they're doing the same thing with
Mm-hmm.
the TV. They're using the TV for the same capacity that they use in
Religion.
the
Yeah.
religion. So it's the same thing, the food,
Yeah.
everything. So um if you know that
It's all
that's the root,
all got to do with outside worship. Outside
everything,
worship,
yes.
so there's no internal
You don't
discovery.
remember you're the infinite dreamer. You fell asleep and you hear dreaming and you're supposed to be having fun and you think that you're just meeting bones.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And they got your energy knotted up because if you think that you're just meeting bones, you're so infinitely supported by the universe that you will
Mm-hmm.
experience being meat and bones. Even though it
Yeah.
won't be true, it will still create that experience because that's how infinitely supported we are. That's how infinitely
Mm.
supported you are.
Yeah.
So they know this. They know that the mind is off. So they start early, early
Mm.
programming, early foods, early high metals, heavy metals, early parasitic foods. Uh, to start early, just reading your body and throwing off your second mind, your second brain right here in your gut,
Mm.
throwing that already off at the beginning, putting a corner store on every corner store got is a liquor store, and then they got a bunch of candy that's addictive, and with all of the dyes and a bunch of chips that's addictive, and then
The
a bunch,
preservatives and all type of
yeah.
different poisons in it.
Yep, and
And
then they got the low vibrational crown blocking hats with
hmm
the made out of acrylic and all of that other horrible, dead, toxic material disconnecting you or creating an experience of disconnection from you and source, which creates a connection from you and everyone else. How can you have empathy for anyone else? How can you see yourself in anyone else if your crown is continuously blocked by some poisonous, dead material?
and
You
also,
know.
even on that note, it's hard to help someone that's drowning next to you when you feel you're drowning in the first place. You know, it's
Yeah.
hard to reach out to help somebody else when you are already in a perpetual state of drowning in survival mode. You know, I
Yep,
also wanted
exactly.
to add in also why religion was used specifically on us is because we are such a spiritually connected people,
It's
and
all.
the way we are connected spiritually with the organism that is the earth, the organism that is rocks, the grass, the animals, and all these things. They use that same thing against us, and took all that eternal power and eternal connection and pushed it outward towards something that doesn't look like us, doesn't sound like us, and doesn't move like us. It doesn't. What they bring to us is something that is insecure, that pushes fear, that does all these things that are the opposite of our natural state. You know?
Mhm. It's
Yeah.
all a collective manifestation because that's what you're taught from the beginning. That's why it's everywhere. That's why it's next to the poisonous store. It's a church on every corner. You
Mm-hmm.
think like, man, these a lot of these neighborhoods were pretty bad. So why would the spiritual root that's in the midst of all this, that's not transforming anything, be looked at as anything other than perpetuating? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's if it's
That's
not if it's
usually
not
it's usually the biggest building in the neighborhood.
yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
true. And how crazy is that? And and it's no different. It doesn't transform behavior because it doesn't create transformative results based on the reward system. The reward system is not go within, it's go without. So it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, you're constantly being looked at like the TV. And I think the TV and how the cameras are set up from that perspective is also connected to the brain pattern programming of why people are constantly thinking that they're being monitored by an external deity from that perspective. If you're
Mm-hmm.
watching movies and TV shows hours and hours and hours a day, your brain starts to look at that as a natural way of life. So when you continuously think that there is a third party looking at you, and you're always a third party looking at a specific perspective on movies and TV shows and shit, you start to correlate that in that movie and shit, you start to look at yourself like from God's lens, and you're
Mm,
judging yourself. How can you ever be authentic in anything if you think that there is a God that's staring at you, judging you?
judging you
How
all the time.
dreadful, how
Yeah,
anxiousness, how tiresome. You can't answer a question
yeah,
authentically. You have to answer a question as if you're being observed by someone who in which you want to impress based off your loyalty. So
yeah.
you are always constantly acting. You know what I mean? The most devoted religious person is typically someone who can act the most devoted, because you
Hmm.
can't really be devoted because you're not devoted to yourself, because you can't be authentic, because being authentic in your mind thinks that that will lead you to an eternal, burning or suffering. And
Right.
it's scary. And if you were taught that from an early age and you never actually go back and revisit from a psychological perspective, from a high conscious perspective, from an intellectual perspective, because most of us are, it's normalized to never question it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's normalized from yay high all the way up until elder years to never question it. Matter of fact, the people up top are even more strict in their faith, in their blind faith, than a
Hmm.
young. So you almost are programmed to think the older I get, the more blindly I should follow this. It's fucking brilliant from a
Yeah,
psychological perspective. This
yeah,
wasn't just the people. This wasn't just a particular set of individuals that are benefited from this now idea. This was taken from some shit, or it was supplied by something else, because this shit is outworldly
and
brilliant.
also things have been done before. This isn't the first rodeo. This has been done in different places, different times, and different stations of this whole realm that we live in. And
Yeah.
what was I about to bring? I was thinking. I got lost.
Well, to interject what you were saying, that this happened before. This did happen before. That's what the Tartaria and Atlantis was.
Exactly.
Tartaria was the last, and then before that it was Atlantis, and then before that it was Sumeria, which the
Hmm.
Anunnaki, and before that it was Lumeria.
Lumeria.
Right when we was all still one in Pangea. You know what I mean? When it was
Right.
all connected. You know how all of the continents looked like they can fit in a puzzle because they all were connected. So no matter what you do or say or clock it, we all was on the same continent and one
Hmm.
big old world at first, and then it split. And then based on the climate there, that's what happened over hundreds of years to some capacity, and it may be other variables involved. But no matter what, at the beginning it was all one. So what the fuck is the point of all of the
Hmm.
fighting and the superiority and inferiority complex? It's all just projecting because you're looking for your worth in something outside of you. I don't give a fuck if you're identifying with your heritage. If that is where you're finding worth in, your worth is misplaced because you are already worth it because of who you are, not of what you belong to, not of who
Hmm.
you represent, not of what you accomplish, not who you with, not what you got, not how much money you got. It's about who you are. So look at everything from a neutral perspective, and so then your energy won't be biased when you're piecing together the puzzles of who you are. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And in actuality, if you truly have worth within self, somebody else having worth within their self shouldn't make you feel insecure. It shouldn't make you stagnant in what you have. It shouldn't make you feel afraid of what might be taken from you. You know, every we are all supposed to be here shining ourselves individually. So now I remember what I wanted to get into. What's your thought of why and the reasons behind the out of Africa theory? Because from my research, it shows that America is in actuality one of the oldest lands and civilizations that were advanced and had cultures like we're talking about with Lemuria and Atlantis and things like that. So, what's your thoughts on the out of Africa theory and why researchers tell us to look back and say, hey, all people came from Africa and then this and all that?
Oh well, I already know. The son told me. So we had a group of people that was the Tartarians, and this overlapped with the Aboriginals, and a large group of our ancestors left. I don't know if they transcended somewhere. I don't know if it was on the other side of the ice wall, but all of those architectures, all of those individuals that built all of this architecture was not here during the wars, right? But their offspring were a powerful people. Now, this wasn't just one attack. You know, the Turtle Island, the Aboriginal Americans were attacked from all sides. They were attacked from
Hmm.
Britain. They were attacked from France. People don't know
From,
this. They were
from
attacked from
Spain,
Spain.
all over.
They,
Yeah.
people don't know this. And this went on for hundreds of years. This was right before the reset. So this was like between 16 and 1700, because the
Hmm.
reset happened during the 1700s. Right before that, all of these worlds and all of these buildings were being utilized by the people here. And
Hmm.
those floods were not the destroyer. The floods
Oh
were
no.
just concealment.
Hmm.
Yeah, there was just to conceal the architecture that was here. And for a long time, when you started piecing together the puzzles, you start looking at the mud floods, and you know that that's clearly fucking something, like every fucking thing that's right there. That's how you know they didn't get these ideas, because the way this stuff is
Yeah.
being managed now is just nowhere near as advanced as the base to be put into position. Period. So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
man. So
Which is exactly why in most of these buildings that are old Tartarian buildings, you'll find on it. It does not say that it was built or created in 18 this or in 19 this. It says founded on this
mm,
date. It says founded by this time, and also you'll see that if you look in areas like old St. Louis and Atlanta and Philadelphia, when you see these buildings, you'll still see relatively Kemetic figures all over them. You'll see Kemetic symbols and all type of different things that still relate to the ancient Kemet or Egypt, as they say, and it's all still relative. Like even how they say that in the Grand Canyon, they're finding all these ancient Kemetic and Egyptian things. But what they'll find out is that America and Africa were so connected that we were tied with each other for the longest time. So I think that's why when you bring the out of Africa theory, it connects with us so much that it's easy for us to believe that our roots come from there because we had that same connection. We had those same those frequencies and vibrations and different symbols and languages and things of such. So that's why it's so easy for us to just go into the flow of saying, "Oh, yeah, we come from here, we come from there," and it's easy to believe these things. You know?
yeah, well, east is west and west is east. Everything was perverted and inverted. This is the old
Mhm.
West world. This is ancient Africa. Ancient Kemet is Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Babylon, yeah, Babylon is right
And
here.
now let's the
So
Mississippi.
yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. So it's right in front of us. So then when you start looking at and then the United States has
Yeah.
more pyramids than any other place in the entire world. Why
Hmm.
isn't that a conversation? Why isn't that talked about? More
Well, in
mounds.
actuality, you can probably drive around and see more pyramids than you've even intended. That they're not even displaying as pyramids. They're not promoting as pyramids. There's no tourism, but you can sit here and drive and see this triangular, which they're calling like a hill or a mountain, but it's obviously a formation. But and you see it everywhere. I'm pretty sure you can't drive for an hour without seeing one.
I mean, the Grand Canyon. We got its pyramids and Sphinx right there. I mean, it was a whole city right there. You see the whole figuration, and you're literally not allowed to explore it. It makes zero sense. This is your land, and you're not allowed to explore some of the most ancient artifacts that is still intact. I think when it's all said and done with, it's going to be attempted to destroy that, because right now it's still power in it for some reason, and I think it has to be a reason why it wasn't just instantly destroyed. You destroyed a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, yeah,
And that just, stuff like that always give me thinking, like just trying to piece together puzzles for my pattern recognition. I'm just trying to remember everything from the inside out. You know what I mean? That's it. I'm just flowing.
yeah. But also, if you start looking at even the remnants of the tribes here, you look at the hieroglyphics of the Hopi tribe. Tell me what that looks like. They look like dreadlocked black people. If you look at the Mayan murals, they look like dreadlocked black people. If you look at the Olmec statues, they look like cornrow black people. Even if you look at the ancient history behind the Hawaiian Islands, and even going back to New Zealand and everything, all their history looks like us. And a lot of these cultures aren't even afraid to say these things.
Hmm.
They even had what's the guy's name? Putin in Russia bringing out the Black Madonna, showing the Black history of Russia, and even how we were talked about being attacked from all these sides, which is why they say that the Native American people are the people who they are, is because we were attacked from the Western Front, from Asia, the Asian people, and sometimes not even attacked. They came before some of the colonizers came, so we accepted them as our own. So we integrated different colonies, and we have always been an accepting people, which is why we have people now that always want to suggest that somebody can come to the cookout, or that somebody gets their black card and all these other things, because that's just the type of people we are. So as we learn that a lot of the things that sometimes even frustrate, conscious people or even black people, when we're trying to uplift ourselves and do these things, when we're always giving things and giving ourselves, that's just who we are. So, being that that's just who we are, we have to let the world realize that our ascendance is not your demise. Our ascendance does not mean that you will be left out and you will perish. It will just be the ascendance of all.
The energy is always fluctuating no matter what. It's like seasons. That's why we go back and forth between the Atlantis and the Tartarian and Lumeria Samira. Like it just goes back and forth, and the energy is turning back right now. No matter how you explain it, from different perspectives, somebody can always it's just always going to be somebody feeling like a victim. It's just low
Mhm.
vibration and high vibration, and we're heading back to that high time. You the edge is tilting, and we're starting to see the reflecting. It's that this grand awakening is happening right here in front of us. Like it's so huge, and it's like a big giant match. What an amazing, exciting time to be alive, to be in some change. Even when life was fun and you was boogie oogie oogie in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, we were so asleep.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
oh yeah,
fun. It was fun, and our root chakras was the only thing that was open. Everything else was so blocked.
yeah.
And we were able to dance. We were able to connect on a lower
On a
vibrational, but a
physical level,
spiritual level. Yeah,
yeah,
and we were able to. We had family. We had that, but our crowns were done for. We did. We were just. It was so program. So
yeah,
how exciting to be right here, right now, with all of these individuals. When I be going through those comments and I just see how awakened the typical person is now,
oh
it's
yeah,
like it's like something I've dreamt of. It's like
yeah,
I
yeah.
dreamt it and manifested it.
Yeah, even teenagers now, they say, "Oh, he's got aura. He's got this." It's becoming just regular trend to become enlightened. It's
Mm.
within it's even within the mainstream, and that's why it's being fought against so hard.
I think that's what the Dark Ages was. I think that's why that was erased from history, because that was a high vibrational 1,000-year reign.
Mm-hmm.
Positivity.
Yeah,
It was enlightened beings. It was collectivity. It was
but
ascension.
also beyond that, while we were at those levels, the people that have fought to put us in this position now, they were at their lowest, and not
Yeah.
not because they were at their lowest because we put them at their lowest. It was they were at their lowest because they tried to detach everything from us, and try to do all their own things. And when we had to go into the place of teaching them how to bathe and how to have structure and how to build foundation, that's when they moved into their Renaissance eras and all these other things. But if you look into the real the real foundation of a lot of the people that they treasure, the Plato's, the Mozarts, the Da Vinci's, and all that, a lot of them have melanated ancestry, melanated history behind them, but that doesn't want to be talked about.
Yeah, it's true. All of them. I mean, Columbus got melanated
Yeah,
roots. uh,
yeah,
Abraham Lincoln. This go. This runs deep.
yeah, yeah.
But when you get even deeper, because I was just going deep, right? No matter what, all of this is just a blanket of reality. This is
Hmm.
just a dream happening in the infinite everything. And this
Hmm.
dream requires balance. If there wasn't those low vibrational individuals, we would be
Hmm.
so high vibrational we wouldn't have polarity. We would remember too much who we are. We probably would just awake in our higher self. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That polarity creates more self-love, different perspective. You know what I mean? Going through certain things allow you to remember more of who you are from a different perspective and allow you to grow. So they are required, yin and yang. They're just being
Hmm.
who they are because they play a pivotal part. Without them, there is no us. Without us, there is no them.
Yeah,
That we will
and it's
cease to exist in this little pocket of reality, and that
yeah,
creates the balance. So we're heading in an amazing time. We're at an amazing moment
yeah,
where we get to feel some of the lower vibrational programming, but actually see the awakening and the arisening. You know what I mean? We get to witness it. We get to
yeah.
experience it here in the physical. You know what I mean? How delightful.
and actually and actually all of the things that has happened to us, all the trauma and all the bad things that we look at happen to us, it gives us the opportunity to be our most balanced self. We not only can be enlightened and be great, we also can relate to people who have been tortured, who have been damaged, who have been attacked. We can relate on all fronts, and we also can gain the respect of many because we have came from everything. We're it's like just like in the Bible it says, the meek shall inherit the earth. And it took us being in that position to have the dignity to actually rule, to actually spread our light, to actually do what we need to do so that it doesn't come from an obnoxious point of view, you know?
Mm, absolutely. And it's slippery sometimes. That's why the Bible also say it'll be difficult for a rich man to inherit the kingdom of God.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Because
yeah.
once you get a lot, that shit changes you. A lot of these
Yeah.
people get compromised that go into that industry. They program you to go into the industry that a lot of those people is fighting to get out of.
Yeah.
How ironic, right?
Yeah.
And you get into it, and as you know, everything always look green on the other side. Everything. That's how
Yeah.
life is supposed to be. Life is supposed to be like that. When you realize no matter what is going to look green on the other side, it
Yeah.
makes you that much more present. It makes you that much more grateful because when you go over there, it's always not what it seems. So just love what you have. Love the people that love you. Be grateful for the things that's right there in your life. Because man, if something happened, you will be looking back like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness,
And
I had it all. I
even beyond
had it
that,
all.
love,
I was
love,
good.
love what you don't have. Love the
Oh,
people who don't love you. Love,
yeah.
love spawns an energy that can be created in the darkest of darkness and that can grow into levels that we can't even imagine. And especially when it comes from levels of the dark and of hate, that's when it becomes the most powerful. Like they say, the rose that grew out of concrete, it's the strongest, it's the brightest, it's the reddest. That's how it is. So once we get back into our love frequency, which is happening now, but once we're back into our love frequency, it spreads the way it's supposed to, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Because you project. You always project. They tell people, hey, stop projecting or don't project on me. No matter what, you're supposed to project.
Yeah.
projection means that you're putting outward what is actually inward. So if you don't want them to project, what you want them to do?
Hmm.
You want
But
them to say something that they don't feel? You're literally
yeah,
saying, hey, don't tell me how you feel. That's a horrible curse. Just
yeah,
like this language is full of curses.
but most things are used in the most effective ways. When they talk about project, they're just talking about doing something negative, not in the sense of actually projecting light, projecting love, projecting
Exactly.
all these other things.
Yeah.
We
Projecting,
have
period.
we have we've been taught the lower side of frequency so much. We have to realize the common sense of balance is within the same, but on the other side. So
Yeah.
everything we need to know has already been taught. We just have to reformat. We just have to rephrase.
Exactly.
All the curses that have been given, we can exchange these words and change those curses into blessings, into the beautiful spoken word we can use, which is which is why this is such a beautiful time because we've been given all the tools we need.
And just like it's the same once you know, no matter what, you have no choice but to reject. Even if you're doing something that's disingenuous or you're saying something that's actually not what you feel, you still are projecting that you don't feel comfortable enough to be authentic
Hmm.
in that moment. You're always
Hmm.
projecting. So once you look at no matter what everybody is doing, it's just a projection of their inner state. It's so much easier to love everybody because
Hmm.
you stop applying what they do to your worth and and you apply it to their inner state that ain't got nothing to do with me. Oh, now I'm not saying take some shit, always act accordingly and detach and make sure you protect your peace because for me, peace is everything. I
Yeah.
have to be peaceful. I'm already not a physical person. I'm always in my mind and thinking and creating and unraveling knots. And like, so I can't be too much filled up in this physical, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I got to be light in this physical. So I can't do any additional, non-peaceful stuff. So yeah, once you prioritize it, just let it go. And then who cares,
Yeah.
man? It's just
And
them.
just
It's just them being them.
and just like you said, once you start seeing yourself in everybody, you start to understand where it all comes from. And once you realize that it's all a projection, you have a better chance to empathize. You have a better chance to understand and say, "Hey, I get where that's coming from. I've been there too." Or maybe I haven't been there, but I know what that feels like. Or I can just empathize what that might feel like. And that is the core of understanding. And
Mm,
once we start understanding these things, the stress starts to dissipate. The confusion starts to dissipate when we start seeing each other in each other, you know?
mm. Hmm.
But
We've
yeah,
been programmed. We've been programmed to be never be alone in your own feeling. So you have to always convince everybody else to feel like you in order to be the hero of your movie, because that's what movies and TV shows. So when somebody says something that is a
yeah.
contradiction to how you feel or your foundational belief structure on whatever the topic is, you always feel the need to try to change their mind instead of just understanding them.
Hmm.
They just feel like this because of this. Why are you applying it to your worth? And why do you have to have a battle with wits? That's based
Hmm.
in insecurity because you feel if you're alone in your own feelings, it must be incorrect. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So it's all connected. It's all the same stuff,
Yeah.
man.
Which is why we have the verbiage where people say, "Oh, I'm the main character. I have all these things," because they're truly engulfing us in this idea that everything is just a movie. Everything is
Wow.
just their figment of what they're making it. And in actuality, there's no main character. You are the main character. If it is you, it's the you that's in everything, and
And you the TV.
that's the main character. You you are the plug in a sense
You the
that
TV and you the person
supplies
watching the
everything.
TV.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's how big you is.
And there we go. Well, yeah, man, I appreciate your time today. I'm not gonna hold you all day, but I appreciate your light enlightenment and your consciousness, and thank you again, brother.
Oh man, fun discussion. I appreciate you having me, dude. Until next time, I look forward to the next
Always,
one.
always, always. I got something lined up. While we was talking, I'm like, okay, I know what we talking about next. I
Let's get it.
already know. All right,
Let's
brother.
get it. All right,